Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Halima. I cannot read the other name that came through. Thank you all so much for joining. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. If you are new to me, my name is Radia. If you are not following me, I would love to follow. We are trying to get a TikTok shop for this account as well as trying to get to 10K. Inshallah, bismillah. So please, uh, please follow. Thank you so much for those. Let's see if I can get. Ooh, I hope I didn't make this thing. This isn't dead. Please don't be dead. Ah, I think it's dead. Okay, we're gonna solve that real quick. Oh, I believe I did that. Come on in. We are gonna have part two of this conversation. Inshallah. Yep, it was dead. I'm gonna give it a little juice and then I'll start. So go ahead and thank you so much. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope it doesn't take long. It shouldn't. I probably should have used my other charger. Oh, good. Here we go. Huh. It wasn't dead. I don't know why it did that. So let's get inside of Clubhouse too, because we had the conversation and one in there. So I can, here we go. Okay. I don't know what I had just agreed to. I just wanted to make sure I could do this room. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay. Happening now. Let's see, what time is it? Let's make that 11 p.m. so it starts. Bismillah. Okay. Give me one more minute, you guys. So sorry. All right, I am ready finally. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, yes, it is. So again, for those of you who are unfamiliar with me, my name is Radia. I am the founder of Taking Care of 5 Before 5. These conversations originally took place on Clubhouse, and so just FYI, we are on Clubhouse as well as Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, StreamYard, and TikTok. Alhamdulillah. So if you are not following me or the house on whichever platform you're on, I would love to follow. I am trying to always grow the account. So specifically in regards to TikTok, and I'll mention Instagram, even though I don't have Instagram because I ran out of devices. But I will, inshallah, I'll upload it there. But nonetheless, I want to be able to share across all my platforms, grow all of my accounts, in particular TikTok and Instagram, because they, as well as YouTube, they do pay you as a content creator. And so I'm trying to get to those ranks, inshallah, bismillah. And so I will go ahead and begin. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, assalatu rasulullah. So I don't know how many of you all were here the last time we had this discussion. Is anybody here that was here when we began last week talking to the retirees, baby boomers, and empty nesters? I would like to see if there were any of you all that were here, so that just to see. I know I didn't give you all any notice, and for those of you that I think I was on yesterday or whatever day it was. Thank you. I had said that I would be on live. I just didn't know when, and I didn't. So I do apologize, firstly, for it being so late. And then, yeah, so mainly for it being so late. I said it's better late than never. And I didn't want it to become midnight, because, I wanted to make sure I had this conversation in this space. So here we are. So I just want to pick up a little bit, some things I'm going to say from the last one, seeing as though I don't see anybody that let me know that they were here when we had the last conversation. And you are welcome. It's on replay inside of Clubhouse. You're welcome to go to the house taking care of 5 before 5 so that you can catch that. I did stream it live on Facebook and LinkedIn as well. And I'm not sure that it's on StreamYard, even though it's because of StreamYard that I'm able to do it. Excuse me. It may be on YouTube. I didn't double check that. But anyway, so I wanted to talk to you all specifically because if you are not already an empty nester or retiree, or regardless, many of you might be baby boomers, but you might not be of those other two that I mentioned, right? So, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome. And so some of us, sometimes we're looking for things to do when our grown children leave the home. Maybe we have retired from our jobs and things of this nature. And so, or maybe some of us, we want to supplement, maybe the pension and or disability isn't enough, and we want to supplement that income or replace that income. And yet, we'd love to travel, right? And so much of the time, we do this either, with, our loved one, meaning our spouse, or, as a family, and things of this nature. And so I'm here to present to you that there is an opportunity for you to do this to where you can make money. Okay. You're leaving money on the table when you travel and you haven't positioned yourself as a travel business owner. And so I'm here to help you with that. And so when I talk to those who are on disability and have Social Security, they're always worried about losing their benefits. Okay. And so I was just speaking with an older gentleman who was retired, in particular from the armed forces, right? And I mentioned that to him, and he was saying, that's not true. Well, I already knew that, but he confirmed for me that's not true. That, and even if that were the case, seeing as though you could make, you could make quite a substantial amount of money, 6-7 figures, right? We're talking about replacing, whatever income that you have. True enough, it's yours. And what I would do personally, well, I'll let you all, as a strategy. So I'll let you all contact me if you want more information on that. But I would position myself so that that's not a concern. And so one of the ways that you can do that is by, again, you're becoming a travel business owner. This is a business. And so if you know anything about business, you have advantages, tax advantages. Okay. And so we're not saying this is your personal income. This is your business. There's a difference. And maybe you might want to see your financial advisor or an accountant or something of this nature, a professional. But yeah, so uh, we're saying too that if in the event you do make, yes, yes, I don't know what you mean by join. Join what? Join the conversation, as in me allowing you to speak. You would need to come over to Clubhouse for that. I don't know you, and I prefer anyone that wants to be audible, besides myself, that they come inside of Clubhouse. Again, that house is taking care of 5 before 5. I have my reasons for that. Many of you all who have, you know, checked me out before. Let me say this first. I have a disclaimer. I have zero tolerance for ignorance, ignorant statements, disrespectful statements towards myself, towards my way of life, towards anyone in this space. I will block you. I will not engage. I just block. This point blank, period. And so I reserve the right to have those who want to come inside of Clubhouse to speak, because I'm most familiar with that platform. I know how to operate it with my eyes closed. And so if anybody gets out of line, I know what to do. I'm still learning, you know, these other apps. And because I'm on multiple apps, it makes it a little more difficult to do what I would need to do other than blocking you. And so, you know, there are those who have known me. I've been inside of Clubhouse, alhamdulillah, Allahumma barak, for almost 4 years now. And so they've got my back. They know me. They've got my back. If anybody gets out of line, I know they got me. I don't know about here. Wa alaikum salam. So for right now, only I will be speaking unless you all come inside of Clubhouse. Again, that house, if that's what you like to be able to do, is taking care of 5 before 5. So anyway, I want to ask a question, and I'm hoping for some engagement, inshallah. So travel for the Muslim is very important. And I want to know, since none of you all are here or were here from the last conversation, so we gonna start this over again. Why is travel so important to the Muslim? Sister Bahia, you're more than welcome to join me on stage if you like. Just raise your hand, and I will bring you up, inshallah. But for those of you on these other apps, why is travel so important to Muslims? I can't speak to or about any other way of life. Okay. But why is it so important to us? Anyone care to answer? And of course, Bahia, if you don't want to come on stage, you're more than welcome to use the chat and type if you'd like. Anyone else? No one knows. This is part of our arkan, and no one knows. Our 5 pillars, no one knows. One of them, there's several reasons, but there's one that is a part of our arkan, our 5 pillars, as to why traveling is important to us. No one knows. Or you just being nosy, you checking me out. Maybe you need Google, maybe you need to go to your Quran or some hadith, or I don't know. That should just easily roll off the tongue, in my opinion. Being a practicing Muslim, it helps spread and help other people to embrace Islam. Yes, but that's not the answer that I was looking for. It does, alhamdulillah. So as it relates to our arkan, the 5 pillars of Islam, travel is important to us because we are required to make Hajj. Forget about that. We are required to make Hajj. Inshallah bi'thnillah. We are required to make Hajj. And so whatever that looks like in terms of the mode of transportation in which you take. I've run upon Instagram, as well as they're here on TikTok, some brothers that are going by horseback ride from Spain to Saudi. They anticipate, I guess they timed it out, how much of a distance they needed to travel every day. in order to make it there in time for Hajj, inshallah, bismillah. So this is what they are doing, reviving a sunnah. Uh-huh. Yes, for those who can afford it physically, mentally, and financially. Yes, having no debt, inshallah, bismillah. But I wanted to talk about the point that, it's very important for us as travel, as Muslims, in regards to travel. So another reason it's important, I'm going to, again, I'm going to ask you all, uh, give me some examples from our way of life. Um, yes. Um, give me some examples from either Quran or Sunnah, and I know what you meant, as to why, another reason why travel might be important to us as Muslims. There's an infamous story of why travel is important. Since we only have one person pretty much responding, unfortunately, and I'm assuming your name is Muhammad. I'm not sure. MBM. I don't know what that means. There's abbreviation for, or Abdul Majid. I'm not sure. Muhammad Abdul Majid. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Anyway, Najib. Okay. Can you share an example from wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh? Yes, income for retirees. Abdul Majid. Okay. Good guess. Alhamdulillah. Welcome. Thank you all so much for joining. So my question was, can anybody recall from a story, be it from the Quran or from Hadith, as it relates to the importance of travel? Anyone? I'll just wait a couple of minutes because I know it takes a minute to type, but you all are welcome to come inside a Clubhouse if you all want to speak. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but Allah has blessed me with a house. They are called Taking Care 5 Before 5, and this is where I prefer, if anybody wants to be audible, that this is where they do the talking, inshallah. Thank you so much. Is that my Angelica? Sister Angelica. Best to travel at night. Okay, that's not what I was looking for. There's a story in the Quran with regards to travel. There's a story from Hadith that I'm thinking of. So I just wanted to get a feel of. Oh, okay. Alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. You all don't know? You can't think? What's the story I might be thinking of from the Quran about traveling? That's good. I wasn't going there. I wasn't going there. That's good. That's a good one. But not that one. Any other guesses? Anyone? That's excellent. I love that story. There's another one I love even. Well, I won't say even more, but probably just as much, from Quran. And then there's one from the Sunnah that I like as well. Anyone else? Any other guesses? You give up? Thank you so much for the hearts. Those beautiful hearts. Thank you. So for those of you that don't know, since Sister Angelica admitted this is her first time on TikTok, so the rules of engagement are, I'll get to that in just a second, brother. Like you see those hearts, constantly tapping that heart alerts the algorithm that we have a live conversation going on here and that people might want to, check us out. So, yeah. So, or you could do the old fashioned way. At the bottom of the screen is the arrow. And so you use that and you can share that to your social media. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell. So I get to the information I want to share. So the story that comes to my mind, we didn't talk about this one last week. The story that comes to my mind as it relates to travel, it's one of my absolute favorite stories in the Quran, is um yes, yes, Brother Abdul Majid. Yes, yes, yes. When no, not no. You were right the first time. Musa alayhi salam had that journey with Khidr. Yes. I love that story. He had to go on a journey. He had to travel with Khidr because Allah sent him because he, Musa thought he was the man. He was the wisest man, around. And Allah needed to teach him a lesson. It is travel. It is. It is travel. They did travel. Remember by boat. They traveled. So he had to learn many lessons on that journey, on that travel trip, right? I'm not gonna get into that, read up on it for those of you that aren't familiar with that story, but I absolutely love that story. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. And so there's that one. What about from the Sunnah? Something that's Surah Al-Kahf. Um, that this is in regards to hadith. Let's see which ones you all come up with. It could be a journey. It could be travel. These are all words associated with travel. Um, any guesses as to the hadith I may be thinking about as it relates to travel and the importance of it for us as Muslims? And it also goes back to, uh, you know, it stems from Quran, but there's a story that I'm thinking of from the Sunnah that relates to it as well. Hey, Fatima, assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome. Nusa, thank you so much for joining. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. If you are not following me, I would love to follow. I am trying to grow. No, it's not Calf again. Hujarat. Is that story in Hujarat? Is what I'm thinking about Hujarat. What were you thinking of specifically? I should have looked to see. Yeah, tell me what you're thinking about. No. Mm-mm. Okay, so um, I'll begin with this. So we as Muslims are commanded, if we fear or feel as though we can't, right? No. If we cannot practice our deen where we are, practice Islam where we are supposed to make hijrah, right? And so the land of disbelief, yes, change the land, right? So that's from Quran. So now the story. Now, can you think about the story since I've kind of told you where I was going with this? Can you think of a story in particular as it relates to that? Thank you so much for joining. Welcome. No, from Hadith. Yes, that's it right there. Yes, that's it right there. The story of the man who killed 99 people. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I have to share that one. It's short of enough of a story that I can share this quickly for those unfamiliar. So, first of all, there was a man who was going on a killing spree, right? But he wanted to stop. He wanted to stop killing people, and he didn't know how. So he would go to those whom he felt were more learned than himself and ask them, Is there a way, can I be forgiven for having killed these, people, just killing people? Can I be forgiven? And each time, before it got to the 99, each time he kept asking, they said no. So it would trigger him. And so he would kill them. And he kept doing this, right? Until he found a monk, right? And he asked him, yes, he asked, yeah, he finally got to the 100, but the actual, you know, the the point of reference is, the way it's always phrased is the man who killed 99 people. But yes, he wound up getting up to 100. So he finally found someone who said, yes, you can be forgiven for this. But you are here in this town where something about this town and or these people here trigger you, and you have to leave this land and go to a land where there are people who are righteous, who are practicing and know about forgiveness. And so he set out to go on this journey, right? And as Allah would have it, he died along the journey. And so he told the malaika, the angels, to measure the earth, to find out the distance of what part of the earth he was in. If he was in the land of kufr, of disbelief, and where the people were doing haram, evil, impermissible things, or if he was close to the journey of traveling, using that word again, traveling to where there was righteousness, where there was good people, right? And so I want to say this here for those who are unfamiliar with this story, so Allah knew, he already knew. But just so you all are aware, for those of you that don't know, when we as Muslims, we die, we believe that wherever we die, however we died is how we will also be raised. And in some instances, how we may be punished as well. So he instructed the angels to measure the earth, to figure out the distance. And Allah already knew that he wasn't close enough to the land of where there was righteousness. So out of his mercy, he moved the earth, so the distance, so that he would be closer to the land of righteousness rather than evil. And but the angels didn't know this. And so they were concerned, even though he instructed them to go ahead and do this, because they remembered the kind of man he was, what he did, and knowing that he's going to be raised however he died, excuse me, and in the place in which he died. And so by this time when they're going to measure, Allah had already moved the earth. And so again, in Allah's mercy, he was closer to the land of righteousness. And so very happy and excited, they came and told Allah. And so he had to travel. Okay. That was the only way for him to get away from what he was doing before. He wanted forgiveness. He wanted to live right. He wanted to do right by Allah and the people, right? He wanted to change his life. And so he had to travel in order to do so. And so it's the same for us today, that in order for us, if we fear or feel that we cannot practice our way of life wherever we are to move. And to further illustrate that point, Allah tells us that we won't have any excuse in that regard. Why? Because he says that was not my earth spacious. Was not my earth big enough that you could have found somewhere where you could have practiced righteousness, right? Okay, so just wanted to share that with you all, for those of you that don't know or didn't know. And so back to the baby boomers, empty nesters, and retirees, or those that are on Social Security or disability, right? So many of you all, you love to travel. Many of you all, especially if you're in the States, one of the most traveled destinations is to Florida. to Orlando and surrounding areas because of Disney, right? And so, or many of you, all you go on cruises, and things of this nature. You have your reunions that you do. The first example we had with our prophet who immigrated to Medina. Yes, alhamdulillah. But yeah, so many of you all, you like to travel with your family, with your friends, with others who are also baby boomers, retirees, empty nesters. And I'm saying you all are leaving money on the table. Okay. And so I want to share some additional points with you all about that. As we get older, especially as our children begin to leave our home and begin to have their, establish their own lives, we feel like some of us, we may go through a phase where we feel like we're losing our purpose. Especially if you had an active career and or raised family. So many will struggle with finding a new sense of purpose once they no longer are working or parenting daily, right? And so, while I'm here talking to you in regards to travel, just FYI, travel is the number one searched term, right? And it is a 15 trillion dollar T with a T as in Tom business industry, right? And so what if you got 1% of that trillion? It's not impossible. It's not, right? And so, you're already using the product, which is travel, because of you're going to these different destinations, you're doing these different things, right? And so my whole thing is, when we travel, many of us, especially if we're living paycheck to paycheck, we have to plan. We have to be very organized and strategic with our planning of travel. And so it may take us from one year to the next to save enough money in order to travel. And then don't let us have big families, right? And we're responsible for, you're talking about the transportation, where you're going to stay, the food. And I don't know about you all, but when my family and I traveled, we got souvenirs. Also, our souvenirs were usually a t-shirt. We always got a t-shirt so that we would remember where we went, when we traveled. Sometimes we get some other little knickknacks or what have you and things of this nature. And then sometimes I remember my parents would get gifts, for your close family or friends. So that's a lot of money, right? And so, we're doing this, and some of us, we can't even enjoy our trip because we're already thinking about how much money we spent, and that we have to wait until the following month or the next time we get paid in order to recoup. Okay. And so with that, we're saying position yourself as a travel business owner so that you don't have buyer's remorse. You don't have regret, right? What does that mean? That means that if you position yourself, lock arms with my business partners and I, and becoming a travel business owner, you are firstly saving on your travel. And you have the ability to make money from your own travel, get the commissions from your own travel. Okay. So what does that look like? Say you're gone for 2 weeks. You're gone, your trip is for 2 weeks. Okay. And so you might have easily spent anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000, right? With given everything that I mentioned, especially if you're traveling with a family. And so we're saying you're entitled to getting a portion of that as a commission. And it's quite possible if you're gone for 2 weeks that you will be getting back a portion of that money while you're on vacation. If not, then it will be by the time you get back or before 30 days, right? So that's what we're pretty much saying. Stop leaving money on the table. Okay. Another thing, Combating isolation and loneliness. Many of us, especially those of us that are retirees, empty nesters, um, or baby boomers, we're looking for others like us who can relate. Okay. And this is common when our children move out, go to schools, get married, right? Um, our social search, we feel oftentimes, that our social circles shrink. And so, again, involving yourself in locking arms with those of us who are travel business owners, aka travel agents, independent travel agents, you know, this will enable you to interact with clients. And one thing about you all, retirees, you baby boomers, you love to talk. You love to talk. And so just imagine positioning yourself to be around those who want to hear your stories, because you all got some stories to tell, some rich, really rich stories, right? And so um, this is how you can attract or get clients, um, be a part of our travel networks, as well as other independent agents such as ourselves. And so this helps you to remain socially active and connected. Okay. So I know some of you all may, if you aren't doing this yourself, or some who fit this category that I'm speaking of, that work at places like Walmart as greeters, right? So you have a purpose, maybe for some of you all, the income that you're getting from your pension isn't enough. So you find yourself having to go back into the workforce. So we're saying stop doing that. Become a travel business owner, lock arms with my business partners and I, and make your money that way. For some, doing something like that is humiliating. Oh man, I worked 30, 40 years. Now I got to go back into the workforce. We don't want you to. We don't want you to do that. We want you to continue to make money on your terms, right? And again, by being a travel business owner with us, an independent travel agent, this will enable you to do just that. Inshallah, bikmillah. Another thing, there's the need for new challenges and learning opportunities. Some seniors miss the intellectual stimulation that they had during their work years, right? Learning the ins and outs of travel and planning, staying updated on destinations, and understanding client needs can provide continuous learning and keep the mind sharp, right? Another thing, well, we already kind of talked about making travel affordable and accessible. So the difficulty affording travel on a fixed income. Many of you all retirees dream of traveling more, but find it challenging to fit vacations into a fixed budget. This is, what I was sharing. As a travel business owner, you can gain access to discounted trips, exclusive rates, and perks, making the travel much more affordable, inshallah. And you can enjoy your golden years exploring new places. And so, also one other thing, you want to find age-friendly travel options, for others who are seniors, retirees, empty nesters. So you're going to plan trips that meet your mobility or their mobility and health needs. And so many worry about overpaying for accessible options. And that's another thing. For those of you that don't know, my family and I, we've lived overseas, a total of 4 countries, alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. And so it's a given that, unfortunately, if you come across people who are not genuine, who are not moral, have morals, who are not righteous, right? They will take advantage of you because they know that you're not from them. You're not. You're a foreigner, And let it be known, if they know that you have one of three passports, that's America, as in the US, Canada, or the UK. They think you all have money. And so they will try to get you before you get them. Okay. Get got before you get got. Okay. That's their mentality. I've seen it, you know, just by them recognizing more of a British or an American accent. In Canada, you all don't really have an accent. But anyway, Australia, Scotland, unusual accents from theirs. They know you're a foreigner. And if you don't know their language, they will mark up prices on items. They will steal from you, things like this. And so, again, having someone such as myself who is a world traveler, I can assist with some of that. They will have you believe, a certain amount is expected, as a tip when it's not. They'll take advantage wherever they can. You give them, what is it, a mile, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. You give them a mile or an inch, they make a mile, that kind of thinking. Yeah, because they think that our money can be easily replaced, whereas as it's difficult for them to come across money. So they'd rather get you, and you can recoup. Okay. 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 So now, leaving a financial legacy and creating generational wealth. That is one of the main reasons that I'm even still in this opportunity. Why? Because once you have positioned yourself as a director, what we call a director, meaning you have helped, not you by yourself, but some they've got some pool like that. But usually most people don't know or have 100 people who are willing to be business partners with them, right? There are exceptions, but in most cases, there's not. But the reason 100 is substantial is because Mr. Bradley, the CEO of our company, may Allah guide him, Ameen, had decided that would be the pivotal area in which he feels a person is all in. And this will be the time in which they can leave a legacy of wealth, generational wealth to their family. What does that look like? That means that if, once you reach that level, you have an agreement between the company and yourself that you can bequeath, you can list a beneficiary in the event of your passing, so that all of the money that you have made in this opportunity can be passed on in the event of your passing, right? And so again, I'm going back to our way of life as Muslims. We know that we are supposed to. Many of us don't. I don't know why, but many of us, we are supposed to know that we are supposed to live a last will and testament, right? And so this can be part of that. We are supposed to not leave our family members debt. We are not supposed to, be when someone dies, it shouldn't be a hardship upon their family and or the extended family, meaning the ummah, the community, right? And so the opportunity that I'm speaking of is in regards to becoming a travel business owner, aka a travel agent, an independent travel agent, locking arms with myself and other business partners. There's approximately 122,000 of us that are active in this opportunity. Okay. And so that's what I'm talking about in a nutshell. But so those of you who are in, yes, very profitable. Again, I know obviously you came in late. Travel is the number one search term in all search engines. It is a $15 trillion business. Allahumma barik. T as in T. T as in Tom. Okay. And so I have people that are business partners of mine. I've yet to see this for myself. I'm being totally transparent. People that I myself have introduced this opportunity to, and they are making six figures. Allahumma barik. I've not made that. Whenever you bring someone in, you get a portion of what they have made. But you yourself, if you haven't done the work, you don't get the six figures. They do. Send me a message. If we're not connected, meaning you following me, message me so that I can send you the link. However, you can also look at my link tree. That information is there as well. But if you want to send me a message, you can do that. And then if you like, I can send you our full business presentation as well, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. And so, that's one of our concerns, for those of us that as we age, our legacy, what that's going to look like, right? I know I think about it all the time, and I've made everyone who knows me knows that this is one of my legacies that I want to leave for my offspring is a legacy of wealth, because it hasn't existed in my own family. I believe my father has money. I don't know how much money, but I believe he has money. And we probably won't know until he dies. See if he dies. Before the rest of us. Allahu A'lam. But beyond that, we don't come from millionaires. Inshallah, I will be the first millionaire in my family. Inshallah, bismillah. That's my hope and prayer, so that I can leave a legacy of wealth. And within this opportunity, there are several streams of income just in this opportunity alone. Many of you all know that I'm involved in several different opportunities. And alhamdulillah, I'm only following those who are rich, wealthy, because they are multiple income streamed, meaning they get monies from a variety of ways as opposed to one. Okay. So that's what I call part of that legacy, inshallah, bismillah. So moving on. So again, so those who are retirees, baby boomers, empty nesters, this is a common worry about leaving enough for the children and grandchildren, etc. So in building this travel business, it offers you a way to create residual income, as I mentioned, because you will get money more than one, depending on, if let's talk about the level of directorship of, where I said you have 100 people that you've helped to do the same. Maybe you only know 10 that, have come on board and are willing to work with you, be a partner with you. But maybe they know 10. Each 10 knows 10 until you get to that 100, right? So we're not saying you yourself have to go out and find 100 people. No, we're not saying that at all. Okay. So this offers, again, a way of creating residual income, building wealth that is passed down to the family as a family business or as part of an estate. Now, I want to share this for those of you who tend to run away from network marketing or multi-level marketing opportunities, especially if you're Muslim. I'm not a scholar, but I have shared my thought process with someone who is. Allahumma barik. And so the way I look at Khadija radiallahu anha is that she was she would be richer than Queen of Sheba, richer than Oprah Winfrey, right? These are the names that we know. Okay, most of us, right? And equate as being the most richest women, alive. Okay, but during her time, this is who Khadija radiallahu anha was, the wife of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam. And she set the foundation for multi-level marketing. How? because one, she was a woman, right? And women didn't travel the way in which men traveled. She couldn't be in several places at one time. So she leveraged not only her time, but her money and having others who represented her to go out to different areas, make money. They traveled with her goods, right? And came back and brought her money. They got a portion of the money. She got a portion of the money. And this is the foundation of multi-level marketing. Okay. And so many of you all are running away from it. And we're supposed to be of those who follow the sunnah. This is the sunnah of how you should do business, leveraging your time and money. Right? Okay. So moving on. So it helps to preserve dignity and independence as well. Some retirees may fear the loss of dignity associated, like I mentioned about, being at Walmart as a greeter, right? Associated with not being able to contribute financially. Generating income through the travel business allows them or you to maintain your dignity. Like again, I know there are those of you who may be doing this right now or know of people who are doing this right now, seniors who are greeters at Walmart and places like that, because they realized the money that they were getting from their pension, from retiring, from disability is not sufficient, and they need something to do. And so, but yet they find it humiliating, and they disregard that because they know they need the money. So they go back out and they start working again, right? So this helps them to preserve their dignity. Okay. Okay. So this helps to them to also provide for their own needs. Sometimes as we get older, our parents get older, they have pride. They don't want a pity party. They want to feel useful. They don't want to have to be in a situation where they're dependent upon someone in many cases. And so this again contributes financially to your families if you choose to do that. And then lastly, it gives flexibility and freedom and a new career. And this isn't really new because you were a consumer before. We're saying stop being a consumer and position yourself to be an investor. Okay? So, there is a reluctance to commit to a rigid schedule. Many retirees don't want to go back to a rigid work schedule. And so this would free them of that. Inshallah, that. So that's basically what I wanted to share with you as it relates to finishing up the topic of the baby boomers, empty nesters, and retirees. So is there any other questions that any of you all had? I answered the question that was asked, in regards to more information. Like I said, we do have, for those that, didn't get to hear this, we do have a formal presentation that I can share with you. If, you are listening to this and maybe you want me to speak to your children, maybe you're in this position that I'm talking about where I got to go back to work, to be real, about my situation. I'm going to have to go back to work. And maybe this is, like I said, where you are right now. I'm saying, don't go back to work. Do this instead. Okay. And so maybe you might want me to speak with your children. Maybe you want me to speak with your spouse, whatever the case may be. I got you. Just DM me. Any other questions? Thank you so much for joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are not following me, before I was kind of trying to, in one of my other spaces on TikTok anyway, I was trying to refrain from using that word because I heard from a number of people, they were saying, don't say that. That's a flag. And then, but I just was in a situation where I was listening to someone, and I heard them just, and they're a pretty big influencer, content creator here on TikTok, and they just kept saying it. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna say it again. So if you are not following me, I would love to follow. I am trying to get a TikTok shop for this account, as well as trying to get it to 10K, inshallah. So if you're not doing that, I would appreciate the follow. And for those of you who may have missed anything that was said, you're welcome to, if you are not already on Clubhouse, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, following me on either of those, because this is where I will leave that this live on those platforms. And I guess I'm going to have to figure out a way to be able to upload it to Instagram. I ran out of devices because I had needed my iPad to help me with the notes that I had to make sure I didn't miss anything. Otherwise, I would have used it. I would have figured out a way to use it so that I wouldn't have to worry about that. That's why I'm on all accounts if I can, so that I don't have to worry about downloading and uploading. I can just knock everything out in one go, inshallah. But are there any questions? I know, Emma, assalamu alaikum, that you just joined. But like I said, if you all want to, you would prefer to come to Clubhouse. The house where this conversation will be left on replay is called Taking Care of 5 Before 5. So feel free to come inside of there. I saw they go, uh-oh, she left. And somebody, maybe they popped in by accident. That happens a lot. Or maybe she'll come back. I don't know. But yeah, feel free to join that house if you're not a part of that house. And also you may want to be a part of that house because of the conversation that we are going to have later on, meaning tomorrow. Of course, that will be inside of Radia's Real Talk. So that'll be on Instagram, TikTok, continuing with Facebook, LinkedIn. It won't be on YouTube. That'll be the only place where it won't be, more than likely. But yeah, so, I have on Instagram and here on TikTok, I have another account. I have several other ones, but the account where we're going to have the conversation as it relates to community will be inside of Radia's Real Talk. So if you're not following that account, you might want to go ahead and do that. I believe I have it scheduled on TikTok. I know for sure it's on Clubhouse. If it's not on TikTok, then I'm going to do that after I get off here, inshallah. And I'm thinking once I get off here, since I'm not tired just yet, if I can just maybe be on it for a half hour to go over to Patent Specialist, the account here on TikTok, to talk about a product or two. I don't know which one yet. I'll figure out which one. I think I know which one I want to do. So that as the quarter comes to an end, the year comes to an end, and then many of the sellers, many companies that have us as affiliates, they will be offering flash sales, and so those of us as shoot. Yeah, we can do this puzzle thing. Sorry. To help us increasing sales and awareness, to the people, we go live pretty often, or we, inform you all about different products and things of that nature. And so I think I may, I haven't been on there to talk about any of the products in a couple of days. So I may, hop on over there before fully getting off of the internet, inshallah. But while I have you all here, if there are topics you feel that you would like me to talk about, or to have someone to speak on, or if you yourself make a great conversationalist, we want to know who you are, just DM me. If any of you all, especially those of you who are Muslim, have the ability of storytelling. I want to know who you are, or if you know others who are, let me know, let them know about me. The other house that we have on Clubhouse is called Muslim Storytellers. So that's, where that would take place, inshallah. But I will, like I said, I'm being very intentional about going live and making sure that I can get, all of my accounts, if at all possible, up to 10K, and TikTok shops for each of them, again, to establish that continuation of residual income, multiple streams of income at that. Feel free to let me know any suggestions you have for topics. Let me know that as well. Tomorrow, the conversation may be very triggering for some of you. I will put that disclaimer out. But I don't intend it to be. There's, we have to talk about it. We absolutely have to talk about it. Okay, so you all can go on ahead and go over there and see what I'm talking about. I don't want to, give a spoiler alert. But again, feel free to, check out Radia's Real Talk, and so you can see what the topic is. And, you can make a decision of whether or not you'll join the conversation or you won't. But I encourage you to do so, especially if you have children or grandchildren, or you're a teacher or an imam, a scholar. You definitely need to be a part of this conversation. Inshallah, it's been a long time coming. And I would say that's probably the only subject that we hadn't talked about inside of Clubhouse. But there's a first for everything. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Muhammad. I see you are new. Feel free to follow the house, inshallah. I see others have joined. Thank you so much for joining. I am going to get off here. I'll probably go get a sip of water or something, because I feel my voice kind of leaving. But like I said, I will, inshallah, unless sleep overtakes me. That'd be the only reason, or Allah takes me, whichever happens first, that I don't, come back on here to go live inside of Pad Specialist, that account in here in TikTok. So I will close now. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. La ilaha illa ant. Subhanaka inni kuntu minadh dhalimin. Ameen. And again, I thank you all so much for joining. Barakallahu feekum. And as I always say, be resilient, inshallah, and have a good rest of your day, afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you are in the world. And inshallah, I hope to see you all when I, go inside of Pad Specialist in a few minutes, inshallah. I think what I'm also going to do is go ahead and make my Isha prayer, and then, come on after that as well, inshallah. All right. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.